Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table podcast, where we value love, growth, and connection. I am your host, Fikayo, and I am so happy that you are here. Did y'all like that? Yeah. We're trying to get it together. We really are. I'm trying to see what's good, what's okay, and also what needs to be done away with. And speaking with what needs to be done away with, well, you remember that segment I introduced last week? Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Technically, we're not doing away with it. We're just changing it. We're modifying it. And it's because I really wanted to incorporate something into this podcast that allows us the ability to effectively reflect on what is happening and what's going on in our lives. And essentially, the question is going to change from how are you to, are you ready? What are you snacking on? Can you imagine? What are you snacking on? What are you snacking? Like, what are you snacking on? And this can be anything. And it'll probably be whatever I'm learning that week, or however I feel, or honestly, whatever I'm hyper fixated on that week, because I get really hyper fixated on a lot of very specific things. But I hope that you're grasping what I'm trying to say. If you can't, okay, right. Imagine this. Imagine we both went to brunch and we pull up our seats and I turn over and I ask you, hey babe, how are you? What are you learning? How do you feel? What are you snacking on? Do you get it? Like, do you get it? It's so good. It's like all of those questions. What are you doing? What are you learning? How are you growing? All in one. And hopefully every week we can talk about it and we can reflect on it. We can just talk about what we're snacking on, what's going on. How do y'all feel about it? I think I like it. I think I like it a lot. I think it's befitting to this podcast and the name of the podcast. And I think it fits the vibe. And eventually we'll start having guests on here and I'll have them answer that exact same question. I think it would be actually really cute. Also, accompanied with that question, I'm going to ask y'all, have you been praying? Again, I am not a Christian influencer. There are girls who influence the Christian way and they are very, very good at it. But I am not that girl, but I do think that it is important, irregardless of your religion or your church, that you pray. Prayer is important. The new age girls are calling it manifesting. I don't know, I guess. If that's how you go, okay. But I do want to remind us to do it, and I do want to remind us to do it with our hearts. So I will be reminding you and myself to pray every podcast. Okay. All right, now that we have gotten the house cleaning out the way, baby girl, have you prayed today? Well, I have, and my prayer point right now is it's just direction. I feel like right now there are just so many paths in front of me, and there isn't one that's inherently bad or inherently good, but it's just one I need to, I don't know. I think it's like I need to pick one, or maybe I don't just pick just one. Maybe there's a way that I can combine all of them. But I'm not really sure what that looks like, so I'm still kind of here, and I'm just allowing God to help me take the right steps, and help me paint the picture as I step. I think that's good, right? That's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I think that's what God wants me to do, and I feel like I can hear him say, baby girl, just take the right steps, honey, just take the right steps. That's all I need you to do. And I'm like, okay, dad, whatever you say. So that's where I am right now. That's how I've been praying. I hope you've been praying, and I hope that you've been talking to God, because it is, like I said, really important. All right, time for our next segment, and it's going to be, what are you snacking on? And y'all, I am so excited to tell you. On Saturday, right, my church had this leadership training, and oh my goodness, it was so good. And it was leadership training for the workers of the church, and I go to a Redeemed church. So if you go to a Redeemed church, that probably sounds familiar, the phrase workers, but essentially we're the people that serve in the church. And kudos to my pastor, because he had someone come talk to all of us about leadership, and not only necessarily leadership in the church, but leadership generally in our lives. And can we talk about that? I love so much how my pastor believes in genuinely uplifting us, not only as a church, but also in our regular outside lives outside of the church. I think that is so cool. And in this training, we talked about a few things, and it was so good. So the first one, right, was the quote, you owe it to yourself to be the best that you can be. And this is so true, because while sitting there, I just came to the reality that, like, look, one day I'm gonna die. And I don't want to die with all of this potential. Like, I don't want to die with all of these dreams because they don't go anywhere. So why not, while I am here, just light up the world with everything I have now? You know, there is no round two, there is no redo, there is no respawn. So right now, while I am here, I am going to kick butt, and I'm going to try everything and do everything and allow my light to shine in every which way, in every which direction that I possibly can get it to. And I owe it to myself to do that, right? I think so, and I think you owe it to yourself as well. And I'm hoping that even as I'm saying these things that I learned from the church leadership training, you also are able to grasp something as well, or you're able to like hit a revelation, and one of these seeds are able to be implanted into your heart. So the second one was watch who you follow and also watch your friends. And the Bible does say this. But also, not only did the Bible say it, but my favorite philosopher said it too, and he says, well, it's Seneca, and he said, associate yourself with those who make a better man out of you and welcome those who can make you improve. And it made me just think, well, it made me think about the people that I have around me, and do the people that I have around me make a better woman out of me? If they don't, then realistically, they shouldn't be in my life. And I don't know how that sounds, but it's true. I don't want to surround myself with people who don't want to do anything, because that's not where I am trying to go in life. And I want friends who are super motivated and who are also working on themselves the same way I'm working on myself, so it doesn't feel like a lonely venture. And it also, the second part of that was welcome those whom you yourself can improve. So not only people who make a better person of you, but also people who you can pour into and you can help. And I think that is also really cool, because that means that not only should I be looking at people to surround myself with who can pour into me, but I should look for people who I can pour into also. So I really held on to that. And I thought that this was also really good, watching your friends and watching who you follow, because honestly, I thought peer pressure was something for elementary school students. But child, let me tell you something. I ain't ever seen peer pressure like how I seen it as an adult. Oh my goodness. Like in college, it was like drugs and alcohol this, party this, bad decision here, bad decision there. And because like I didn't have a strong will, I was just like, okay. And boy, oh boy, did I learn. I learned definitely the hard way. So now I'm just even cognizant of the fact that the people that you do surround yourself with will definitely play an impact in what you do and how you behave and how you conduct yourself. So just being intentional about who those people are and making sure that those people are going to build you and not harm you. Another thing they talked about is the fact that self-confidence is important. And I think I know this. Well, maybe. And I do have a little bit of self-confidence, but I wouldn't particularly call myself a confident person. And because my confidence isn't too big or it's not too much, I try to protect it by not doing anything that could threaten my confidence. So I don't really put myself out there too much. And I feel like that's something I need to stop. Confidence is very important, and I want confidence to be important to me and be a part of me. And I feel like for any adult that is going to be successful, you have to have some aspect of self-confidence and just allow it to grow. Lastly, this isn't necessarily a quote or something, but this was something that I wrote and I really, really loved. But he had said, "What is your superpower?" And it just had me thinking that, what is my superpower? And truly, everybody has their superpower. And if each of us are able to think and sit down and realize what our superpower is, like, the world would literally become a better place. I really like that question, what is your superpower? And I think it's something that, as I have guests on here as well, I will have them answer, what is your superpower? And also, by being able to identify your own superpower, you are able to identify your weaknesses as well and work on it. And one thing that is very, very, very important is the ability to conduct introspection as an adult, because it allows you to sit back and look at yourself subjectively like reevaluate things. So I really like this question. It's here to stay. Did y'all like that? That is our "What are you snacking on" segment. Do y'all see how it works? I hope you guys liked it. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. All right, y'all. Now it's on to our main segment, and this is the nuts and bolts of our podcast. I just wanted to talk about habits and things that I'm trying to put into my routine. We are in the last week of January, so these are things that I have consciously been trying to work on and incorporate into my life. They've been going pretty well for me, and I just wanted to talk about it on here. And what better time other than January? The first big habit that I'm trying to incorporate into my everyday life is walking or running or doing some type of physical activity in the morning to get my body moving, But going outside every morning has really been helping me. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes it's not always a run. Sometimes it is simply just a brisk walk. But every morning I do try to make it outside, even if it is only for 10 minutes. And obviously there are health benefits to it and weight loss benefits. But aside from these obvious things, like, it even just makes me sit back and think about when God created us and how he created us in the Garden of Eden. And it makes me think about how we are supposed to be outside, y'all. We are supposed to be breathing fresh air. We are supposed to be experiencing the colds. Like, these are just things that were supposed to be natural to us. Living in a house is a human construct. Having air conditioning is a human construct. Having electricity is a human construct. Although I love these human constructs, I do try to cultivate this space of simplicity in my life, where even if everything is going bad, at least I have this moment of bare simplicity being my beauty. And it's so simple, like things like watching the sun reflect off of the buildings in the morning as the sun is rising, or listening to the birds talk to themselves, or smelling the morning dew. It helps me in the days where I'm feeling bad or I'm feeling hopeless. That reminds me that, babe, like, God literally waters the plants by himself. God literally tells the birds where to go and eat. Like, how much harder do you think it is for God to provide for you, Fikayo? Just kind of gives me a grip on life and a little bit of perspective. And I love it. I love it so much because not only do I do it for weight control, but it's also a lifestyle improvement. Like, I'm intentional about providing a healthy space for myself. I guess I would call this a conducive life space. You know how you have like the working space and you might have a plant in the corner or painting on the wall. Yeah, this is how I create a conducive life working space where I journal and I pray and I run and I talk to my friends and I watch my plants and I listen to some certain music and I don't listen to some certain music. I just find that there are some things in my life that allow me to have a better experience. And for right now, running is a huge part of that. So that's one thing that I want to do, just even for the principal idea of doing it, not only for the weight loss and the other benefits, but I really like this. Another habit that I'm trying to do is waking up at 5 a.m. Have y'all heard about people who do this? It's called the 5 a.m. club. Yes, it is a real thing. Go look it up on YouTube. But these are people who who wake up every morning at 5 a.m. or so they say. They wake up every morning at 5. And I like that. I like that a lot because I feel like I would benefit severely from it. And I'm not necessarily a slow riser when I wake up. I'm usually up when I'm up. But I do lollygag. I do like to take my sweet time. I'm one of those people who loves the nuances of things. So being able to put toothpaste on my toothbrush and being able to rise it to my mouth and know, like, I'm consciously brushing my teeth. And wow, I'm so lucky to be able to have hands to be able to brush my teeth. I'm one of those people. I'm so lucky to be able to afford toothpaste, to be able to brush my teeth. I'm one of those people. So doing mundane, the household, everyday things sometimes can take me a while because I'm just thinking about everything. And that means that in the morning, if I do not wake up on time, I am late to work. So I try to wake up. Right now, I'm waking up around 6 to get to work at 9. But if I had a whole extra hour in the morning to actually do what I need to do, it would change my life. Like incredibly. So I am trying to wake up at 5 a.m. I want to be that girl. I'm not that girl yet. I'm working on it. I'm believing in the Lord to provide strength. I am not she yet, but one day I will be she, but it's not today. It's not today, but we're working on it. We're working on it. Another habit that I'm trying to get better at is my water consumption. I do not drink enough water, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't really drink sodas or juices because I just feel really guilty when I do, but I do not drink enough water. So that's something I'm going to be working on. And lastly, another thing that I will be working on is enforcing boundaries. Yeah, this is a huge one for me. I don't know, like, there are just some people who feel like they have a right to know you in a way that you may not be comfortable in letting them know you, but because they are who they say they are, they feel like they have a reason to know you that way. And this year, I am not doing that. I am not giving myself to people or places that I don't want to give myself to. And I don't know if everyone will understand this. I will not let people take parts of me this year. There will be boundaries, and I will be saying no, and I will be selective with my friends, and I will not put myself into commitments that I do not have the capacity to hold. And if you're not one of those trusted, selected people in my life who I have given permission to advise me, permission and authority to advise me, I will not be collecting your advice. No, this year I will not be collecting any more unsolicited advice. There will be boundaries. And this is really, really hard because I am really, really bubbly and I love to talk and I love to connect. But oh my goodness, we'll talk about it later. But there are right ways to do this thing, and there are very wrong ways. And I have definitely done the wrong ways. All right, did I tell y'all that the other one was gonna be the last one? Oh, I'm sorry, that was not true. This one is actually the last one now, and this one is I want to have a morning and nighttime routine. Yes, not only skincare, but I'm talking about a whole routine, like listen to music, read a book. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I kind of just want to see how my mornings go now, and I kind of sort of do have already like a morning and nighttime routine, but I want to incorporate things that I naturally do and things that I naturally like. I don't want it to become like an extra thing on my to-do list, but I definitely want routine for sure. I read somewhere about systems that you're able to build in your life, and they just help you live better. And I think that I want to have a system. I want to know that I wake up this way and I go to sleep this way. It's like a burger, right? Everything else in the middle we can freestyle, but you have to have that bread on top and you have to have that bread on the bottom. And there's comfort in that. There's comfort in routine. There's comfort and there's safety in it. And I want that for myself. I want to feel safe even in my day, that I know how it's going to begin and I know how it's going to end. And hopefully it will help me become a more productive and effective human being. And if this is done, then the mission is accomplished. Everything else, if I am boring, if I don't if I don't have too much fun, like, that's okay. As long as like I am happy and I am effective and I am productive, I'm good. All right, y'all, I am done. I hope y'all learned something. I hope you were able to grab onto something. I hope you fell in love with me just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And yeah, I am trying to find or create a segment where I can have you guys interact with this podcast. Maybe it'll be something like putting up, I don't know, a story on my Instagram and then having y'all reply to it and then reading off the story on here and what people say. We'll see how that works. We'll see how it goes. We are still trying to get things together, y'all. The grass is settling. I feel like this podcast, we did much better. And I like it. I love it. I love how we are going. I love all of the support from y'all. Oh my goodness. Can we talk about that for a minute? I did not think I was going to get as much support as I am. Y'all are literally amazing. You guys don't understand. Y'all have my heart in your hands, right there. In your hands, in your palms, right there. Look down. You'll see it. My heart in your hands, right there. Y'all have my heart. Like, oh my gosh. I have never felt this loved before. And it makes me happy. And I hope you feel loved too. I am leaning in for a hug right now. I hope you feel loved. All right, y'all, we have come to the end of this episode. It is time to clean off the table and wash the dishes. Please, please, please follow me on Instagram. There you'll be able to see the face behind the voice. And you'll also be able to get any new podcast updates. And also for me, please, rate this episode. Please, y'all. What that does is it helps me get more recognition and allows me to show up on people's recommended. So please help your girl out and please rate this episode for me. And I think that's it. That's all. Do you have any questions? All right. I am your host, Fikayo. Thank you so much for having me in your ears. And please remember to pray every day and laugh really loud.